Hi everyone, we're looking at the Agile and Lean frameworks from the Agile Practice Guide from the Project Management Institute and Agile Alliance. And the reason why we're looking at these is because you'll find as you go along your Agile journey, there are many different core Agile methods that you'll come across and that people may be using or may not be using or maybe partially using. And there are also many auxiliary methods, so even scalable methods that you'll find within Agile where people are calling themselves Agile and using one or some of these methods. And it's just nice to know what they are, a little bit behind them, how they match up with the core practices of Agile, so you can really tell if that team is genuinely Agile or not. The next one we're looking at is XP, or Extreme Programming. XP, or Extreme Programming, is a software development method based on frequent cycles. So already we can see a core practice having frequent cycles or iterations. Now it's known for popularizing a holistic set of 12 primary practices, and these later expanded into other secondary practices as well. And the reason why this has become a core Agile framework is because you'll see many of the extreme programming principles as part of the core Agile practices as well. For example, frequent cycles, sitting together with the whole team, testing first, all of those things that we've been through. Let's quickly go through them as well. From an organizational perspective, we're sitting together, we're sitting all in the same place so that the communication channels are nice and easy. We can look over our shoulder and say, hey, Jane, do you have this information because I really need it? And she can say, you know what, I've got it and here it is. You don't have to wait for an email 3 days later or a week later or maybe, or whatever it is. Maybe that person doesn't want to speak to you at all and you can't get that information. So sitting together as a whole team, the whole team approach where we've got, as we've seen previously, we've got the product owner, we've got the cross-functional team members, the T-shaped generalizing specialist, so broad range of knowledge and also one deep specialty, and then the facilitator role as well to facilitate those daily stand-ups or daily scrums. And we've got an informative workspace, which, as you could imagine, is visual management with our Kanban board. From a technical perspective, we've got pair programming, test-first programming, and incremental design. So we're designing in increments and features and developing those features and releasing those for our customers. Pair programming, so we're sitting with either the product owner as a developer and making sure that everything is being developed in the way that they want, or sitting with another developer to help check the code as we're going along. Basically, we're working as a team in pairs. And we've got test-first programming, where it's our test-driven design, which we have seen as well, where we write the test first, then it will fail because no code has been written to support that test. But then we'll write the code, and then the test will pass, obviously, because we've written the code to support that test. That's test-driven development. From a planning perspective, we've got user stories, weekly cycle, quarterly cycle, and Slack. And we've seen those user stories. Those are the things that we'll put into the product backlog, and that's what will go into our iteration of 2 to 4 weeks. And then from an integration perspective, we've got the 10-minute build, continuous integration, and testing first. And we've looked at continuous integration as part of our core Agile practices, where all of the changes will go up into one environment and then be tested, usually on a daily basis, just so that we know that everything is working as it should, even with multiple changes in play. With our secondary practices, we've got real customer involvement. So we've got our product owner who represents the customer, but we also get real customers involved, the people who will be genuinely using this product. Team continuity, a sustainable pace. So we don't want to be going in ebbs and flows. We don't want people to be burning the midnight oil and then having to crash 2 days later or maybe disappearing altogether. We want people to just have a nice sustainable pace that can go on forever. It doesn't have to be too much, it doesn't have to be too little, it just has to be sustainable. Then we've got shared code, collective ownership of code. We've got documentation from code and tests, and refactoring regularly. So refactoring is just making sure that we're getting rid of the non-essential items of code, or maybe simplifying that code where necessary. And we can use that on our process as well. We can simplify our process, refactor that in a way. When we're planning, we've got root cause analysis on any problems, shrinking teams, pay per use, negotiated scope contract, and daily stand-ups. And we've seen many of these in our core Agile practices. And from an integration point of view, a single code base, incremental deployment, and a daily deployment. And those are the things you'll see in XP or Extreme Programming.